336 before the Common Era, Alexander the Great launched a military campaign into Asia Minor with a large army. After defeating Darius III, the emperor of Persia, he conquered most of the territories under the Persian Empire. Eastern legends recount, when Alexander reached the land of China, he and his army camped around the country. In the middle of the night, a guard came and said, "The envoy of the king of China has arrived and seeks permission to enter." Alexander granted permission. The envoy entered, greeted Alexander, and stood in service. He said if the king deems it appropriate, he should order the assembly to be cleared of strangers, as I have a private message. Alexander ordered a search of the envoy, ensuring he had no weapons. Then, holding a bare sword, he instructed his companions and guards to leave. He told the envoy, "Speak whatever you have to say right where you are." The envoy said, "Alexander the Conqueror should know that I am the king of China, not his envoy. I have come to ask the purpose of this military campaign and how your satisfaction can be achieved, so that if possible, I may strive to prevent a war between us." Alexander asked, "What made you feel safe enough to risk your life and put yourself in the danger of captivity?" The envoy replied, "I knew you to be a just man, and there has been no old enmity or crime between us that would require retribution. You know that killing me will not make China surrender. If you kill me, the people of China will choose another king, and you will gain nothing but infamy." Hearing this, Alexander pondered and realized the envoy was wise. He then said, "I ask you to pay the revenue of your country for 3 years, and thereafter, half of the annual produce." The king of China asked, "Is there any other demand?" Alexander replied, "No." The king accepted and humbly promised to fulfill the demand with all his heart. Alexander then asked, "Tell me, how will your situation be after paying this tribute?" The king replied, "We will become so weak and helpless that any enemy can defeat us, and any friend seeking refuge will be turned away." Alexander said, "What if I settle for the produce of 2 years?" The king answered, "It would be slightly easier than what I described." Alexander asked, "What if I am content with the revenue of 1 year?" The king replied, "It would not harm our army, but it would severely affect the development and prosperity of our country." Alexander asked, "What if I agree to 1/3 of it?" The king said, 1/3 of the revenue for you, and the rest for the country's needs." Finally, Alexander agreed to 1/3 of the revenue. The king of China expressed his gratitude and returned. At dawn, near sunrise, the Chinese army arrived in vast numbers, surrounding Alexander's troops. The soldiers were terrified and mounted their horses, ready for battle. At this moment, Alexander mounted his horse and advanced. When the king of China saw Alexander, he dismounted and paid his respects. Alexander said, "You deceived us with peace and prepared your army for war." The king replied, "God forbid there was any deceit. I remain true to our agreement. I wanted to show you the strength and military equipment of my troops, so you would know we did not surrender out of weakness." This humility and obedience are to prevent the slaughter of innocent people on both sides. Then the king of China hosted him and placed several bowls filled with colorful jewels on the table. Alexander asked, "Where is the food?" The king replied, "The food is these pearls and jewels." Alexander said, "These are not edible." The king asked, "Don't they eat pearls and jewels in Greece?" Alexander said, "Our meal is complete with 2 loaves of bread." The king of China said, "Was there no bread in Greece that you left your home, traversed the world, and caused the ruin of so many people and subjects?" After a brief pause, Alexander said, "I have never seen a wiser and more complete king than you. I now order all my troops to leave your land."